Selling live webinars on Store.fan. The pro feature most creators overlook. Skip the Zoom link chaos and clunky sign-up forms. Sell your next live session the same way you sell everything else. Ask 10 creators what they sell, and you'll hear ebooks, templates, coaching calls, maybe a course. Almost none of them mention live webinars. And that's strange, because a live session is one of the easiest things you can sell. It costs nothing to produce beyond your own time. It can be built in an afternoon, and it converts better than almost any other format because people show up expecting to interact with you in real time. The reason webinars get skipped isn't lack of demand, it's friction. Most creators picture a Zoom registration page, a separate payment link, an email sequence to manually build, and a spreadsheet of who actually paid, and they quit before they start. That entire chain of friction disappears when a webinar is just another product in your storefront, priced, checked out, and delivered the same way a template or a course would be. Why webinars are the most undersold product type. Live sessions have a strange reputation problem. Creators think of them as free value content rather than a product, so the instinct is to give the webinar away and hope it converts people into buying something else. That works sometimes, but it also trains your audience to expect your best live content for nothing, and it puts the actual monetization one extra step away. A paid webinar flips that. People who pay to show up are already warmed up, already invested, and statistically far more likely to ask real questions, stay for the whole thing, and buy whatever you offer at the end, because they've already proven they'll pay you once. A $19 live Q&A that fills a room with 40 paying attendees is a better business move than a free one that pulls 400 lurkers who mute the tab. Treat the topic like a product test. A single paid webinar is a cheap way to validate a course idea. If 30 people pay for a 60-minute live version of a topic, that's a strong signal the full course version is worth building. How the checkout to link flow actually works. The mechanic that makes this genuinely different from a typical webinar funnel is instant, automatic delivery. When you list a live webinar as a product on your storefront, you set the date, time, price, and the meeting link, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever you already use. A buyer clicks through from your one link, Store.fan username, checks out with a card, Apple Pay or Google Pay, and the confirmation screen hands them the join link immediately. That same link lands in their inbox seconds later as a receipt-style email, so even someone who closes the tab too fast still has it saved. There's no separate registration tool to configure, no manual export of a buyer list into a Zoom webinar dashboard, and no risk of forgetting to send the link to person 27 out of 40 the morning of the session. Money from the sale goes straight to your connected Stripe account or PayPal email. There's no separate wallet to remember to withdraw from. So a webinar you price at $25 and sell to 60 people is real revenue landing in your account the same day people pay, not a batch of registrations you still have to convert into cash somehow. Setting one up. The practical steps. Pick a specific, narrow topic. How I edit reels in under 10 minutes outsells content creation tips every time. Set the date and time clearly, and double-check the time zone you display, since your audience is likely spread across several. Price it like an event, not a course. A live session priced between a lead magnet and your flagship product usually feels right. Add the meeting link to the product so it's ready to fire the moment someone pays. You shouldn't be pasting links in manually post-sale. Use a custom checkout field to ask for anything you need up front. A specific question, their time zone, or their skill level. Cap the spots if you want the session to feel intimate, or leave it open if the goal is reach. Send a reminder broadcast email the morning of, since even paid attendees forget. A webinar someone paid for is not one they'll skip on purpose. Custom fields solve the one more thing I need to ask problem. Most webinar tools force you into a separate sign-up form, the moment you need anything beyond name and email, their time zone, a topic they want covered, whether they're a beginner or advanced. Store.fan's custom checkout fields let you attach that question directly to the product itself, so it's answered during the purchase, not in a second form buyers have to be chased to complete. It's a small detail that quietly removes an entire tool from your stack. A webinar priced and sold like a product gets treated like one, by you, and by the people who show up having actually paid for it. Promoting the session without building a launch from scratch. Because a webinar lives in the same storefront as everything else you sell, promoting it doesn't require a separate campaign stack. A broadcast email to your existing customer list announcing the date. A discount code for the first 20 people who register. Earbud works fine. It doesn't need to be clever. And a pinned link in your bio pointing straight at the product page covers most of what a launch actually needs. If replies come in with questions about the session, is this recorded? What if I can't make the live time? The built-in inbox keeps those conversations in one place instead of scattered across DMs you'll lose track of by the next morning. Date, time, and time zone locked in and clearly labeled on the product. Meeting link added to the product so it fires automatically on payment. Price set. Treat it as an event, not a giveaway. Custom checkout field added if you need a question answered up front. Discount code created for early registrants, with a real expiration. Reminder broadcast email drafted and scheduled for the morning of. A plan for what happens with no shows. Recording link, replay, or nothing. Turning one webinar into a repeatable revenue line. The creators who make real money on live sessions rarely do just one. A webinar that sells well once is worth repeating monthly, or turning into a recurring membership perk if you're already running one. A live Q&A every first Friday, for instance, sold as an add-on or bundled into a membership tier. Each run gets easier because the product listing, the delivery flow, and the reminder email are already built. You're mostly just updating the date. That's the actual leverage in treating a webinar as a real product from day one, instead of a one-off favor you do for your audience. The second and third time you run it cost you almost no setup time at all, while the first live session you gave away for free has to be rebuilt from scratch every time. If you're not selling anything yet, this is a reasonable place to start. A single live webinar is lower commitment to build than a full course, and it tells you fast whether an audience will actually pay for a topic before you invest in the bigger version. Open your Store.fan, list the session as a product, and connect Stripe or PayPal in a couple of minutes so payment and delivery are both handled before you've even finished writing your promo post. FAQ: selling live webinars on Store.fan. Live webinars sit in a strange blind spot for a lot of creators. Too valuable to give away forever, but seemingly too complicated to actually sell. The complication was never the webinar itself, it was the stack of separate tools around it. Strip that stack down to one product, one checkout, and one automatic delivery, and a live session becomes exactly as easy to sell as anything else in your storefront. Look at a live example store to see how a real creator structures products alongside a live offer, and check the blog for more guides on pricing and promoting a launch once you're ready to run your first one. Key takeaways. A live webinar is a product like any other on Store.fan. Price it, publish it, and the meeting link goes out automatically after payment. Buyers get the join link on screen immediately and by email, so there's no manual follow-up chasing people down before the session. Selling a single live session is a low-cost way to test a topic before turning it into a full course. Custom checkout fields let you collect what you actually need. Time zone, a question in advance, without a separate form tool. Discount codes and campaign emails turn a one-off webinar into a repeatable, promotable event instead of a one-time scramble. Start your creator store free at Store.fan.